Hey guys, it's Scott with Scottie B Cars, and in this video I want to rank the investability of every MLB All Star. I want to look at every single MLB position player, starting position All-Star and reserve position All-Star, and rank them on this tier list. I made this tier list on Tier Maker, and if you want to go do this yourself, feel free to do that, and you can tag me or you can make your own video on it. But this is my long-term investability of these players' cards. When I'm ranking them, I'm not ranking them on who's the best player. That may align, like Gunnar Henderson may not be an A, even though he is an A this year. I think Gunnar will be an A, but that you get what I'm saying. So to show you an example, here's Adley Rutman. Adley Rutman, he's an interesting player because he's a starting catcher for the American League. He has about 3.5 WAR, I believe, so far this year, so it could end up with like 5 or 6. He could be like Buster Posey or Joe Mauer. We're gonna have to evaluate catchers from every generation slightly differently, so I'm gonna put him as a B. So that's an example of how I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna have to go really quick just because there's a ton of players. Here they all are. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., people think I'm too hard on him. He's actually showing a lot this year. He was slow. He's playing well now. I'm going to put him as a B for now because he is only 25 or 26 with like 15 more. So yes, that's good, but I do think he's taking like that one more leap from like a 130 to 140 OPS plus guy to like a 160 guy, and I think he's doing that now. Marcus Semien, probably a C. I was going to put him in B, but probably a C solely based off of the fact while he has pretty good numbers, he has like 45 career WAR. He's in his mid-30s at this point. He's been very consistent, and honestly, he has not been that good this year. I don't know how well he's going to be collected. I hope he is. I just sold a Marcus Semien gold rookie card to someone who's starting to PC him, and that's great. I'm going to say C. He could be a B. Who knows? Maybe Veterans Committee Hall of Fame type guy. We'll have to see. Jose Ramirez. This one I was debating between B or A. I'm going to put A. And the reason I say that is because I think Jose does have a legit chance at the Hall of Fame. And on top of that, he's staying with the Guardians his entire career. All of that bodes well for his cards. I don't think he'll ever be someone who's going to have like Ken Griffey Jr. values, but I think he's going to be someone who's going to be collected for a long time. Gunnar Henderson, I'm going to have him be the one young guy I put as an A. Last year I put Julio Rodriguez as an A, and he's not an A now. So just to give you an idea, this one is kind of like my one pick I'm just throwing out there. This could be wrong, but he has like 6.5 WAR at the All-Star game. That's crazy. Speaking of 6.5 WAR at the All-Star game, here is Aaron Judge. I am putting him in A category. I think if he wins an MVP this year, I think he has, a Hall of Fame peak. He has to play okay for the next 3-4 years after this year if he wins MVP, which he has a great chance to do. And I think he's a Hall of Famer. He started late. I think people are looking at peaks more heavily than ever. So I do think Aaron Judge has a real chance. Juan Soto, I think he's an A. Soto is my favorite young player in Major League Baseball. I have a lot of his cards. He's a player I PC, and he's good. So he's an A in my eyes. Steven Kwan, I'm going to put as a C only because he's done it for half a season. Like, they've been a really, really good player. He's won a Gold Glove in the past, I believe. But I'm putting him as a C, which is better than a D and into F. And there's a too early to tell option, but I think that's pretty fair for Steven Kwan. Jordan, I'm putting him in B category just because he is solely a DH and hasn't had like a monster season yet. He's been very good, elite hitter, one of the best hitters in baseball, but he is a DH. He has had injuries. I'm putting him at B for right now. William Contreras, you are going to be a C. I'll give him a C. He's been good. He'll be a C. Bryce Harper, he is in the A tier right now. He is Ohtani's competition for MVP this year, so I think A is very appropriate for him. 2 MVPs already on a Hall of Fame track. His cards are probably going to be some of the most expensive of this generation in 20 years, so a good player there. Sorry, Ketel Marte, you are a D. You're like, while you're good and you've been a good player, I just don't think your cards are going to be super sought after. Maybe Diamondback fans will, but I think that's fair for now. Same with Alec Bohm. I know he's been good this year. I know he's relatively young, but I just have a hard time seeing him be above. Maybe I can put a C. It's between C and D. I'm going to put D just to make it even across the board. Trey Turner, I actually was going to put him as a C. Looked at his numbers, 35 career WAR through his age 31 season, into his age 31 season. So realistically, he's a C or a B in my eyes in regards to long-term value. So I'll just say B for right now, just to be nice to Phillies fans. So I put Bohm at a D. Christian Yelich, this one's intriguing because Christian Yelich right now is actually having a really good year. Probably his 3rd best offensive year of his career, but his WAR numbers aren't crazy. 2.5 WAR, but it's 161 OPS plus. It's so confusing, probably because he's not playing good defense. Is that why? He's never really been a great defender, even though he won a Gold Glove. Probably was his only good year of defense. Yes, it was. But Christian Yelich, I think he's a B. I don't know if he'll make the Hall of Fame. 42 career WAR at age 32. He's having a renaissance right now, so maybe he could get to an A, but I think a B is a good place for him. Jurickson Profar, I don't see him ever having major value. I'm putting him as an F. I think he's a great player, but I don't think he's going to be collected. Fernando Tatis Jr., he has all the A potential in the world. I'm going to say B just because of the steroid suspension, and I don't know if people are going to collect him because of that. Collectors in baseball are very interesting with the way that they collect players, and that can be a death sentence for a lot of collectors. Ohtani, you are S tier. You're the only S tier I can think of on this list so far. His cards are going to be the cards from this era. I own 0 of them. I don't regret that. It's just I like the guys I like, but Ohtani I think is S tier. Okay, here is Salvador Perez. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer myself. Like, I really don't, based off of F4. He has like 18, 20 WAR, and he has a lot of counting stats, but he hasn't been quite as good as someone like Posey or Mauer, in my opinion. I'm putting B though, because there's a chance he does make the Hall of Fame, and if he does, on top of that, he's a Royals Hall of Famer for sure. Royals fans love him, won a World Series, so I think he's a B regardless. Altuve, I'm going to put A. People are going to be mad about that. Altuve is going to be a one-team guy. He's going to make the Hall of Fame easily. I know he has a cheating scandal, but he is going to have a lot of collectors after his cards, and he's been very good. So I think he's going to have collectability for the long term. So I said A for him. Carlos Correa, C or B? I'm going to say B just to be nice to Correa. Carlos Correa, C? I don't know. Let's say B. I think he has an outside chance at the Hall of Fame. He's actually having a really good year this year. Obviously, he's an all-star. But he has over 40-something WAR through like his age 29 or 30 season. I don't know. He's good. Devers, I'm going to put him as a B. And I know there's a lot of Bs. This will even out as you're seeing the reserves coming up. But with Devers, I think he's one of those players. He's only 26 or 27. He is 27 with 22 WAR. So maybe a B is too ambitious. I don't think it is. I think he's going to be collected as a Red Sox. He signed a big, long contract. He could be like a David Ortiz type guy who ages gracefully and he has a ton of home runs. So I think that's fair for him. Okay, now we have one of the Naylor brothers. I'm going to put, I think this is Bo. I'm going to put Bo probably at an F. Like, I don't imagine anyone collecting Bo. Isaac Paredes, it's too early to really say on him because he is relatively young. Same with the Naylor brother, you could say. I'm going to say F as well. I feel really bad putting these players here. Willie Castro, too early to tell. Westbrook, too early to tell. We're going to say, and the reason I say that is they're just young. They've only had limited ABs in Major League Baseball. Willie Castro's probably had more, but I do think too early to tell. I don't know how to rank those guys appropriately based off of age, and it's kind of too early to say. So Bobby Witt Jr., this one you could argue as an A. I put Gunnar Henderson as an A. I think he is a B plus or A minus. I'm going to put B just for the sake of this video. I know they're very similar caliber players. I just can't put two in the same tier, so I just put Gunnar as like my pick for an A for the long term. Next up, we have Jarren Duran. Ugh. Can I say too early to tell? Is that cheating? I'll just put C. I think he has a lot of potential. I think he's going to be good. He's going to be a WAR darling. He's going to accumulate a lot of WAR, and that's going to be good. He could easily be a B, and maybe in the future an A, but I think for right now a C. Riley Green. This one is interesting because Riley Green is 23. He's on pace to have like a 6 to 7 WAR season. He was a highly rated prospect and a highly rated draft pick, so I could probably put him as a B. He's going to be my pick for a B. You know, Jarren Duran behind him might make people mad, and that's okay. But Riley Green, I'm putting you as a B. They are very much tied, Duran and Green, in my opinion, in a lot of ways. Kyle Tucker, we're going to put him as a B. The B list is getting really long, so maybe we do bump Riley down. Okay, so this way, that looks a little bit better to me. So that's where Riley Green is in comparison to Jarren Duran. I think they're close in regards to collectability right now. Is this Santander? I think that's Santander. I don't think he's going to be collected. We'll say D. He could be an F. David Fry, you're an F. Will Smith, I think, is a C. One of the best catchers in baseball, only has 19 WAR through age 29. I don't think there's much there. I know he's a Dodger, but I still don't think he's going to be collected very widely. CJ Abrams, that's a tough one because he's really shown a lot of flash. He's been horrible defensively, but he's been great offensively, and he has all the skills to be good defensively. It's just because he does not make the easy plays a lot of the time. So I'm going to say C, but I fully believe he could get into the B category soon. With that being said, let's go to Pete Alonso. I'm putting Pete as a C. If Pete does not re-sign with the Mets, I don't think he's going to have a lot of collectability. I just don't. I don't think Mets fans are going to really want to collect Pete. He wasn't really there during much success for the Mets. And on top of that, he's not that great when it comes to some of his numbers. 0.8 WAR this year, 18.1 career WAR through his age 29 season. I don't know. Maybe a C, maybe a D. That's where I'm putting him. Luis Arraez, C to me. He's really not had that good of a year. I'm sorry. 0.8 WAR, 104 OPS plus, and he has a batting average of 310. He's a singles hitter, and that's fine, but I don't think that's going to get you remembered forever. People were comparing him to like all-time great Tony Gwynn. I don't agree with that. Mookie, I'm going to put an A. No explanation needed. I like Mookie. I'm going to put Ellie De La Cruz is a B, and that may be controversial, but I do think he is a B right now. He is like 4 WAR. I think he's like 3rd or 4th. He might be 2nd in the NL in WAR behind Ohtani ahead of Harper. And so I do think that's a relatively good place for him. He could easily be in the A tier sometime soon. Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman is an easy A. He's an easy Hall of Famer in my opinion. Ryan McMahon. I love you, Ryan. You might be collected by Rockies fans. We like you. He's a D. After that, we have Teoscar, C category. He will have some random super collector, I think, because he's had a good career. Jackson Merrill, I'm going to put him as a C, but I think he easily could be in the B category. Just not quite as good as the other players up here yet, but I think he can get there. He's young and talented. Heliot Ramos has been so fast. I don't know. I'm going to put him as too early to tell. Then we have Brian Reynolds. I think he's a D category player. I don't think he's going to be collected very much. Maybe Pirates fans disagree. He hasn't even been that good necessarily. 2.7 WAR, 131 OPS. Okay, it's pretty good. But he's 29 with 18 WAR. I don't know. Not much for me. And lastly, we have Marcell Ozuna. Where do you put Marcell Ozuna? From a pure numbers perspective, I would think he is a C. 26 WAR for his career. We can go look at Marcell Ozuna. Here he is. 26.5 WAR, 3.1 WAR this year, 165 OPS plus. He was great last year for the Braves. And I think on top of that, an MVP 6 finish over here in 2020, which is good. But he has domestic abuse stuff in his past. I think the charges were dropped. I haven't really looked into it too much lately, but I think collectability wise, outside of a few people, I can't imagine anyone super collecting Marcell Ozuna, but I could be wrong. So I'll put him in the D category. That one, you could get mad at me for doing that. Maybe it's not fair, but I think that's where collectability wise he probably should be. Okay, here's my list. Is there anybody that I put in the wrong place? You could argue like Vlad. You could argue Jordan, a little bit young. No, I think it's pretty good. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. Please be civil. I'm sure there's some things you don't agree with, and that's totally cool. But let me know your thoughts, and I will see you in the next video.